Is this the end of the road? It depends if you live on a T-junction or not. Bum, 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 bum. Hello! Another video for King's War, 3rd edition. And today we'll be looking at the Trident Realms. Now, the Trident Realms are a mixture of aquatic creatures, the River Guard, which are frog or newt type creatures. They're all bipedal but humanoid, by the way. You've got the Thult, which are kind of dwarf or halfling sized, but with squids for heads. You've got the Naiads, which are kind of like the a typical D&D merfolk. You've got the Palcoderms, which it describes them as fish people, but I would say they're more like aquatic lizards, I'd say. They're the main forces. There are others, obviously. They started off as an offshoot of the forces of nature, and now they've been evolving up to this stage, which now they're their own force. And as we'll find out, they have a lot of squishy but resilient stuff, if that makes sense. So, starting on page 309 in the big book, we have the Army's special upgrade. They are neutral alignment. It is the Poison Frog. Once per game, before the unit rolls to damage in melee, you may choose to give the unit the Brutal special roll for the remainder of the turn. The unit's Poison Frog is then destroyed and cannot be used again for the remainder of the game. I don't know why they didn't kind of call it something else so that more units could have used it, because it's mainly there for River Guard type units, which is fine, but it does make it a bit limited. It's just basically a case of they've got a frog, they squeeze it like a sauce bottle to smother the tips of the weapons in poison, and there you go. So the infantry then on page 309, starting with the Naiad Ensnarers. Speed 5, melee 4+, defense 3+. Troop 10 attacks, nerve 911, 90 points. Regiment 12 attacks, nerve 1315, 140 points. Horde 25 attacks, nerve 2022, 230 points. They've got Ensnare, Pathfinder and regeneration 4+. This is the thing what I mean. Especially with the Naiads, they are squishy because their defense is 3, but they've got regeneration of 4, which is pretty special. The thing you want with Naiads is make them as big as possible unit wise, because that way they'll be able to heal wounds much easier, and they've got a ton more of attacks. I would probably hoard these up, if I'm honest. A regiment's not bad. It's fairly cheap. A troop kind of seems pointless considering what else is in the book, but I'd go with a horde if it were me, just because the difference in attacks and nerve values just make it so much better. It's 90 points and there's 30 more attacks, there's 7 more nerve, unit strength is better, and it's just better, like a horde should be. Next we have the Full. Speed 6, melee 3+, defense 3+. Troop 15 attacks, nerve 1012, 105 points. Regiment 20 attacks, nerve 1416, 160 points. They've got Ensnare and Stealthy. These aren't bad. A troop or regiment's not a bad idea. Unlike the Naiads, a troop's a good thing because they've got Stealthy, and with 15 attacks, the extra 55 points you might be able to find somewhere else rather than making a troop into a regiment. But having them in a regiment isn't a bad idea either. The thing is though, having 2 troops of these, your opponent's still going to wonder, what am I going to shoot at? Or what am I going to get into combat with? Because unless you've got enough units to get into combat with both, you can't really do hitting 2 units with one of yours. You can do it the other way round, but not that way round. Riverguard Tree Leapers, speed 7, melee 4+, defense 4+. 10 attacks, troop 10 attacks, nerve 10-12, 110 points. Regiment 12 attacks, nerve 14-16, 170 points. Crushing strength 1, ensnare, fly, nimble, pathfinder, and they can have a poison frog for 5 points. The reason they've got fly is they're just basically like a humanoid frog, so they can jump really high up. They're not bad. They've got crushing strength, they've got ensnare, and they've got nimble and pathfinder, which makes them a bit more probably makes them the most offensive of the infantry choices. They are also the second best defensive wise, which is why they're a bit more points. And speed 7, they are also the fastest. Charging, you are looking at 14-inch charge range, and because I've got nimble and pathfinder, terrain's not going to be a huge disadvantage. The pachyderms, speed 5, melee 4+, defense 6+. Troop, 12 attacks, nerve 11-13, 105 points. Regiment 15 attacks, nerve 14-16, and 165 points. They've got phalanx. These are a unit you probably want to stick on an objective. I would say the nerve's not bad. They've also got defense 6, which means unless you've got an amazing crushing strength, chances are you'll be needing 4s at the most to take them down, which, yes, it causes a number of wounds, but it won't cause as many wounds as you would on a lot of other units. On paper, the pachyderms are possibly the weakest because they haven't got as much manoeuvrability or offensive capabilities, but you could just take an army of defense 6 infantry if you really wanted to. The ranged infantry then, on page 309. 9 heart pieces, which are irregular. Speed 5, melee 5+, range 4+, defense 3+. Troop 8 attacks, nerve 9-11, 120 points. Regiment 10 attacks, nerve 13-15, 160 points. They've got regeneration 4+, and they've got harpoon guns, which are 18-inch range, piercing 1, and steady aim, which means you can move and shoot with them. Yeah, I did say it's best to bulk these up, and to an extent that's true, but A, they're irregular, and B, the difference in nerve and shots doesn't really seem enough. Keep these as troops, because if you move and shoot with them, because there's no penalty, you're essentially getting a 23-inch range piercing 1 gun with no movement penalty. So that's not bad. Plus they've got regeneration 4+, which means they can take the damage a bit better. Riverguard, which are also irregular. Speed 7, melee 5+, defense melee 5+, defense 4+, range 5+. Troop 10 attacks, nerve 9-11, 115 points. Regiment 12 attacks, nerve 13-15, 155 points. They've got ensnare, fly, nimble, and pathfinder. They've also got javelins, which are 12-inch range, and they've got steady aim. They can take a poison frog for 5 points. Because of the brutal special rule, that only works for close combat, so you can't smear poison frog on your javelins and expect brutal to affect it there. Brutal only works for close combat, not range. Nah, I'd go for the Nard Heart Piercers over the Riverguard because they're trying to do close combat and range, and they're not really doing well either. They are a regiment slightly cheaper than a regiment for the Tree Leapers, but they're hitting on 5s rather than 4s. They haven't got crushing strength 1. The javelins, it's 12-inch range, 19-inch, which is only 1 inch more than a harpoon gun. I just take the harpoon gun because at least it's got piercing and they're hitting on 4s with no movement penalty. So the swarms then on page 310. Both are irregular, by the way. The Tidal Swarm, speed 5, melee 5 plus, defense 2. Regiment, 12 attacks, nerve -12, 70 points. Horde, 24 attacks, nerve -15, 120 points. They've got Ensnare, Nimble and Scout. They're not bad. They've got a hell of a lot of attacks, and they've got Scout and Nimble, which I think is their biggest strength. Other than that, they're a swarm, and I suppose they're fearless, so they can't be wavered, which is always good. The Nocken then, speed 6, melee 5 plus, range 4 plus, defense 3 plus. Regiment, 7 attacks, nerve -11, 80 points. Horde, 14 attacks, nerve -14, 130 points. Ensnare, regeneration 5 plus, shambling tide spray, 12-inch range, steady aim. I'd probably go with the Tidal Swarm because they've got a hell of a lot more attacks. The problem with Nocken is they're trying to be everything. They're not really doing anything at all amazing. I mean, their shooting attacks only 12-inch range. Yes, they're hitting at 4s, but 7 attacks or 14 attacks. You might as well go for the Naiads, which the points cost for a regiment in that much different. I mean, it's 40 points more for a troop, but it's only 1 more attack, and they've got piercing with a bit more range. The large infantry then, on page 310. The Depth Horrors. Speed 6, melee 3 plus, defense 3 plus. Regiment, 9 attacks, nerve -15, 110 points. Horde, 18 attacks, nerve -18, 185 points. Crushing strength 1 and ensnare. These aren't bad. These are kind of like watery demons or watery abyssal. Well, not watery abyssals. They're all about fire. Watery demon type entities. The Nockens are like. The Nockens are the equivalent to kind of like Orklings. These are kind of like I don't want to say trolls because that's not really right. I suppose troll shaped but a bit smaller. Hit pretty well. The defense is naff. Yes. They're fearless, which kind of mitigates that somewhat. They've got ensnare and crushing strength 1, which again helps a lot defensive wise. It's a shame they've not got stealthy or anything like that, but they are what they are. They are what they are. The Water Elementals. Speed 7, melee 4 plus, defense 5 plus. Regiment, 9 attacks, nerve -14, 130 points. Horde, 18 attacks, nerve -17, 220 points. They've got crushing strength 1, regeneration 5 plus, shambling and strider. I'd probably take these over the Depth Horrors. Reason being is looking at the overall stats, the Water Elementals are a bit better. They've got regeneration, their defense is a bit better, their speed is a bit better, so you've got better charge range. And they've got striders, so they can go over terrain and it's not going to be that much of an issue. Their nerve is a bit less than the Depth Horrors, and they hit on 4s rather than 3s, but it's the regeneration and the defense of 5 which I think nubs it a bit more for me. So the large cavalry on page 310. Starting with the Naiad Worm Riders. Speed 8, melee 3 plus, defense 4 plus. Regiment, 9 attacks, nerve 12, 14, 130 points. Horde, 18 attacks, nerve 15, 17, 220 points. Crushing strength 1, pathfinder and regeneration 4 plus. On paper they look a bit weak because their crushing strength is only 1, but they hit on 3s. Their nerve values aren't bad. The speed 8, which is always good. And they've got Pathfinder and Regeneration 4+. The Regeneration means the Naiads are really, really good. Anything that's got Regeneration of 4 or higher is going to be really, really hard to put down. So next is the Riverguard Dam Busters. Speed 7, Melee 4+, Defense 5+. Regiment, 9 attacks, Nerve 12-14, 155 points. Horde, 12 attacks, Nerve 15-17, 260 points. They've got Crushing Strength 1, Fly, Nimble, Regeneration 6+, Strider, Thunderous Charge 2. Sticky Tongue. This unit's Enthrall spell only has a range of 12. When casting Enthrall, in addition to moving the target, roll to damage for each hit scored. A regiment has got Enthrall 3, while a Horde has got Enthrall 6. They can also take a Poison Frog for 5 points. These aren't bad. They're a bit more offensive than the Naiad Worm Riders. Yes, they've got Regeneration 6+ and Defense 5, but they haven't got proper big regeneration like the Worm Riders have. They are there to get in on the charge, and if they can't charge the thing, then they've got Enthrall to get to the thing, which isn't bad. It's only maximum of 3 or 6 inch, which every inch counts for the Riverguard Dam Busters, I suppose. The Sticky Tongue is an interesting ability. What you could do with it is have them on the flank or something like that. Use the Enthrall to move things closer to them and have something either do a flank or rear charge. You could support units that way with them. But it's a bit different. It's a bit different. Do you take Worm Riders, which are a bit faster, a bit more better defensive wise, or do you take the Riverguard, which have got Fly and a bit better offensive wise? So the Monstrous Infantry then, on page 310. The Gigas, Speed 5, Melee 3+, Defense 5+. Regiment, 6 attacks, Nerve 12-14, 125 points. Horde, 12 attacks, Nerve 15-17, 205 points. They've got Big Shield, Crushing Strength 2, Nimble, Vicious in Melee. These are pretty solid. They aren't overly expensive though, that's the thing with them. 205 points with Defense 6 at the front, Crushing Strength 2, Nimble and Vicious, hitting on 3s. I mean, you've basically got some. You've basically got the Trident Relms equivalent of the Earth Elemental, which is pretty good. Yeah, they're a bit slow, but considering how durable they are defensive wise, and they've got Crushing Strength 2, hitting on 3s, come on, that's not bad. The monsters then, on page 311. Greater Water Elemental, Speed 7, Melee 4+, Defense 5+. 8 attacks, Nerve, Dash 18, 180 points. Crushing Strength 2, Regeneration 5+, Shambling and Strider. These are pretty good. They're basically like the normal water elementals, but they hit it a bit harder, and they've got a few more attacks, kind of, I suppose. Nerve's pretty brilliant. 180 points for one of these. Yeah, I'd say so. Plus the model's pretty decent. The Nooker, which is kind of like, you could use a Worm Rider just without the rider on it for the model for the Nooker. Speed 9, Melee 3+, Defense 4+. 6 attacks, Nerve 13-15, 150 points. Crushing Strength 1, Ensnare, Nimble, Pathfinder, Stealthy, Thunderous Charge 1. This is a bit more, this is more for outflanking purposes. 9 attacks on the flank or 18 attacks on the rear. Speed 9 and stealth means it's not going to be that easy to shoot, although it is going to be a big shooting target. 6 attacks are a bit low considering the Greater Water Elemental's got 8, but like I say, it's more there for outflanking, and if your opponent's not careful, it will hurt them a lot. So the Titans then on 300. So the Titans then, on page 311. Speed 7, melee 4+, defense 5+. Attacks D6 plus 6, nerve 16, 18, 215 points. It's got Brutal, it's got Crushing Strength 3, it's got Ensnare, it's got Iron Resolve and Strider. This is a ridiculous giant. This is the most ridiculous giant I've seen so far. Mantic, what are you doing? Not releasing a parts upgrade to make the giant into a coral giant. I want to see that, and I want to see that sharpish, because it's the stats alone are, well, the special rules alone are amazing. It's got Brutal and Ensnare, which means your opponent's not going to hit it as easily. It's got Iron Resolve, which means it's going to be healing in combat. It's got Crushing Strength 3, which means it's going to do a hell of a lot of damage. 7 attacks minimum, 12 attacks maximum. It's ridiculous. The Kraken is the other Titan. Speed 7, melee 4+, defense 4+. 12 attacks, nerve 17, 19, 240 points. Crushing Strength 2, Ensnare, regeneration 4+, Strider, wild charge D3. This is a little bit different than the Coral Giant. It's not as hard hitting, nor is it as durable on paper. But it's got regeneration 4+, and it's got wild charge D3. So minimum charge you're getting is 15 inch, maximum charge you're getting is 17 inch, which is coming on danger territory. Its nerve is a bit higher than the Coral Giant, and it's got 12 attacks as standard rather than a maximum of 12 attacks. So there's strengths and weaknesses to both of these. Do you want something that hits pretty hard, that can probably weather the attacks a little bit better, or do you want something that has got more attacks at standard, has better nerve value, and has got regeneration? The War Engine then, on page 311. Leviathan's Bane, well, its spellcaster rank 0. You'll see why in a minute. Speed 5, range 4+, defense 4+. 2 attacks, nerve 10, 12, 105 points. It's got Leviathan bolts, which are 14-inch range, blast D3, piercing 3, reload, so we can't move and shoot with it. Which is a shame because it's hitting on 4s. Oh well. Harpoon. After dealing damage with this unit's Leviathan bolts attack, you may choose to immediately cast Enthrall N on the target unit, where N is the amount of damage inflicted with Leviathan bolts attacks. So, minimum damage you're getting is 1, maximum damage you're getting is 6. So, Enthrall, when you cast it, the enemy moves closer towards you. That's essentially what this is doing. You do the damage, then it pulls you towards it, which is a good way of... this unit is a good way of positioning units where you want them to be. Yes, you might only move them 2 inch, but that 2 inch might be enough for something like the Nooker or the water elementals to get a flank charge in, and that can make all the difference. The heroes then, starting on page 312. The Naiad Centurion. Speed 6, melee 3+, defense 5+. 5 attacks, nerve 12, 14, 115 points. It's a hero infantry. Crushing Strength 1, individual, inspiring, mighty, pathfinder, regeneration 4+. It's alright. It's alright. It's there for inspiring. It's a Naiad hero that goes out fighting things, I suppose. It's all shades of alright, that's the thing. I mean, for them 115 points, what can you get instead? You could take some Thul. I mean, a troop of Riverguard Tree Leapers are 5 points less, and they got Crushing Strength 1. It's alright, I suppose. regeneration 4+. I suppose the thing with the Centurion is it's a good road hunt, because remember, unless you've got mighty, infantry heroes are yielding, which means enemies that want to charge something behind them can. If you've got mighty, that stops them. So I suppose you could use them as second edition road bumps, I suppose. Worm Rider Centurion, speed 8, melee 3+, defense 5+. 5 attacks, nerve 13-15, 160 points. Cushion strength 1, inspiring, nimble, pathfinder, regeneration 4+, thunderous charge 1. I'd have thought it'd have a few more attacks than that, but hey ho. It's not bad. Again, it's not bad. Because it's a large cavalry hero, you can get the flank charges and get double your attacks, which is possibly what you do with it. The thing is also, because of the size of the thing, your opponents are going to shoot it. If you want to take Worm Riders, what I would do is split the models off into 3 Worm Rider Centurions. That way you are getting the inspiring and a big sea dragony snake thing that your opponent's going to worry about. A unit of them, yeah, they're going to worry about them, but big things all over the place. The Night Stalker, an infantry hero, speed 6, melee 3+, range 4+, defense 4+. 4 attacks, nerve 11-13, 95 points. Cushion strength 1, ensnare, individual, inspiring, self only, harpoon gun, which is 18-inch range, and piercing 1. Hard no, I'd say, on this one, because it's just there to annoy people with a bit of shooting. The problem is it hasn't got the movement. Speed 6 is good, and that way you've got a 24-inch harpoon gun, which is pretty decent, but that's only 1 inch less than a troop of naiads with harpoon guns. I'd go for that over the Stalker, because it's too few attacks for me. The Depth Horror Eternal, speed 6, melee 3+, defense 4+. 5 attacks, nerve -16, 115 points. Crushing strength 2, it's large infantry hero, by the way. Crushing strength 2, ensnare, inspiring deep 1 only, and nimble. So I think it only affects a few units. I think it only affects the depth horrors, which it's alright. I don't know whether I would take it over the Night Centurion. Yeah, I suppose I would, because the nerve's a bit better, and because it's large infantry, it can outflank. But saying that, hasn't got regeneration, and it's not inspiring to everyone. So apart from the Nard Worm Rider, I wouldn't take any of the heroes so far, to be honest. Full Aquamage is an infantry hero, spellcaster rank 2. Speed 6, melee 4+, defense 4+. 1 attack, nerve 10-12, 90 points. Ensnare, individual, inspiring, waterbound only, stealthy. He's got Ice Breath 10. It can take Surge 8 for 30 points, or 3 if it replaces Ice Breath. Weakness 2 for 15 points, or Rising Tides 1, and you can only have 1 of them in your army. Aura, Wild Charge 1 for 15 points. I won't bother with the Rising Tides because actually, yeah, I suppose you would actually, because it can sort of keep up with the water elementals, which is what this is all about. Keep it with the water elementals. It works with the Nokken. It works with the Great Water Elementals. It even works with the Coral Giant, which means it's getting a charge range of 15 inch if that's nearby. You could also replace Ice Breath with Surge, which is really good for water elementals and greater water elementals, if you build an army around water elementals and coral giants and greater water elementals, the full Aquamage is a good choice. Although it's got Icy Breath, which slows enemies down, which might be good just to take anyway. The full Mythicon. Hero Infantry, Spellcaster rank 1. Speed 6, melee 3+, defense 4+. 5 attacks, nerve 11, 13, 8 points. Crushing strength 1, ensnare, individual, inspiring, cephalopod only, which is all full units by the way, and stealthy. You can take Bane Chant 2 for 20 points, Lightning Bolt 3 for 20 points, Surge 6 for 20 points, and Wind Blast 5 for 20 points. I don't see the point in Wind Blast, to be honest, but you could move units around so you can flank them or charge them a bit easier. There's options there, I suppose. Bane Chant's not bad, Surge 6 pretty good. This kind of works if you're doing a full army or having a load of fulls. It also works kind of if you're having a water elemental army, because it's still got Surge as an option. They're not bad. They're not bad. The Naiad Envoy. Hero Infantry, Spellcaster rank 0. Speed 5, melee 4+, defense 4+. 1 attack, nerve 9, 11, 55 points. Individual, inspiring, pathfinder, regeneration 4+. Options: Horn of Ocean's Fury 1, so you can have only one of these in your army. Gain Aura, Fury, infantry and heavy infantry only for 15 points. This unique upgrade cannot be taken in conjunction with a magical artifact. And you can take Bastion 2, and you can only have one of these in your force for 20 points. I'd probably take both of these because they're pretty good. It's a really good banner bearing unit, because you'll notice on all the videos I've done, or if you've got the book and whatnot, that every army has, well, most armies have got some sort of banner or icon bearer that gives cheap inspiring. This is the same thing, but you've got the Horn of Ocean's Fury and Bastion options, which means you've got a banner bearer, or an envoy in this case, which is really worth a damn. Most of the others not really, because they give inspiring, but there are better ways around. This, I can see the point in taking it. 35 points, which makes it 90 points. It's 5 points cheaper than the Stalker and 25 points cheaper than the Centurion if you take Horn of Ocean's Fury and Bastion. Or what you could do is have one with Horn of Ocean's Fury and one with Bastion. That's one way to do it. But having one with both, yes, you're putting chickens in one basket, but the aura isn't a spell, so you've got it automatically. Bastion, I mean, it's nice to have. Riverguard Sentinel, Hero Infantry, Speed 7, Melee 3+, Range 4+, Defense 5+. 4 attacks, Nerve 11, 13, 135 points. Crushing Strength 1, Duelist, Ensnare, Fly, Individual, Inspiring, Amphibian only, so any Riverguard units effectively, and Pathfinder, and it's got Javelin, which is 12-inch range, and can take a Poison Frog for 5 points. I'd say no, because it's not got Mighty. That's really it I can say for that, just no. Siren, Hero Infantry, Spellcaster rank 1. Speed 6, Melee 4+, Defense 3+. 1 attack, Nerve 11, 13, 80 points. Ensnare, Individual and Stealthy. It's got Enthrall 5. It can take Drain Life 6 for 30 points, Hex 2 for 10 points, Heal 3 for 20 points, Mind Frog, I suppose you could call it that for this army. Mind Frog 1 for 10 points, Weakness 2 for 15 points. It's a pretty good magician, though for expansion books I'd have thought it'd have Spellcaster rank 2 or 3. 80 points as for Enthrall 5, it's not bad. Heal, Drain Life, Any of them aren't bad. I'd only go for weakness or hex if you're taking a lot of spellcasters. Other than that, I just would not bother with them 2 spells. And finally, for the heroes, we've got the Riverguard Dambuster Sentinel. It's a monster hero, not a large cavalry hero, like the other Dambusters are. Okay, fair enough. Though I suppose it's on a 50mm base, so I suppose you could call it a monster. Speed 7, melee 3+, defense 5+. 5 attacks, nerve 12-14, 150 points. Crushing strength 2, fly, inspiring, amphibian only, so all Riverguard units. Nimble, regeneration 6+, strider, thunderous charge 1. Sticky tongue, this unit's enthrall spell has only a range of 12. When casting enthrall, in addition to moving the target, roll to damage for each hit scored. It's got enthrall 4. Nice. And can take a poison frog for 5 points. It's not bad. 5 attacks, it's alright. Hitting on 3s with defense 5, and it's got fly with speed 7, so you're getting it's height 4, so you're getting a 14-inch charge. It's not bad. It's not bad, that's all I can say. The number of attacks kind of lets it down somewhat, but it is one that I reckon be easy to set up on the fly to do some flank charges. Unique units on page 313. Hector. He's a hero, heavy infantry, spellcaster rank 0. Speed 5, melee 3+, defense 6. 6 attacks, nerve 12-14, 165 points. Crushing strength 2, ensnare, individual, inspiring, mighty, phalanx. Krakenmaw, when casting Wind Blast, in addition to moving the target, roll to damage for each hit scored, and it's got Wind Blast 8. And considering it's a spell, you're hitting on 4s, that's pretty decent. It's not a bad hero. Of all the heroes so far, apart from the next one I'm going to talk about, I'd definitely take Hector, because he's got 6 attacks sitting on 3s, crushing strength 2. He's mighty, so he's a bit of a road bump. He's got defense 6 and ensnare, which means he's going to be a bit of a pain to take down in close combat. And he's got and he's inspiring, so it helps there. And finally, we have the Trident King. He's a hero. Chariot, should I say. Speed 8, melee 4+, range 4+, defense 5+. 12 attacks, nerve 14-16, 230 points. Crushing strength 1, ensnare, nimble, regeneration 5+, thunderous charge 1, very inspiring. It's got tidal spray, which is 12-inch range with piercing 1 and steady aim. So 12 attacks at 12-inch range with piercing 1 and steady aim, hitting on 4s, nice. Because of the size of the thing, it's a 100mm long, no, 100mm deep by 50mm wide base you've got to put it on, which is pretty good. Speed 8, which means you've effectively got a 20-inch range shooting attack, nice. It's pretty good on the charge. Very inspiring, so inspiring works within 9-inch, again very nice. Ensnare, it's going to be hard to take down. 230 points for this. I would take this all day long. You are going to have to make the model, because Mantic haven't got one yet, but I really would. It's been simmered down a little bit from 2nd edition, but I'd say it's still pretty good. The thing with the Trident Realms is that they have got some good defensive characters and units. The problem is, however, most of them high defense things haven't got either much movement or much to help out actually hitting the thing that they're attacking. What you need to do is think about mixing stuff up. You've got good outflankers like the Riverguard and the what they called, the Worm Riders. I mean, the Speed 8 with the Generation 4+. You've also got Really, really good shooting. Yes, they haven't got as many shooting unit variants as the dwarves, but they are a little bit better overall because you can move and shoot with them because they've got the Nard Heart Piercers. You've got the Leviathan's Bane, which means you can reel stuff in towards you, get a load of outflanking. I mean, you could take 2 or 3 Leviathan's Bane, depending on points of the game, obviously, and if you're in a tournament, obviously, and just set them all up all over the place and just hit a load of things. What you could use them for is shooting the big things, reel them towards you, and then get stuff outflanking way sooner. I mean, hit giants, outflank with your own giant. The thing with the Trident Realms is most of it is squishy on paper, defensive wise. A lot of it, you've seen a lot of defense 4s and 3s at the highest of the scale, but you've got a hell of a lot with your generation 4 and 5, a little bit of regeneration 6 as well, which means they are going to be an absolute nightmare to make run off the board. You might waver them, yes, but making them run off, probably not. So that's it for the Trident Realms. Goodbye for now.